Joining us here and to have what's sure to be a very informative and lively conversation. Today's discussion on Internet of Things is both timely and informative. It's topical. Today's October 21st, 2015. Rings a bell? October 21st, 2015. It's a day of significance, not only because we're here together in this space, but also today's Back to the Future Day. Yes, on this exact day, is that Marty McFly and his quirky friend Doc Brown traveled in their DeLorean time machine Back to the Future in part 2, if you remember. I actually had to see a movie last night on my flight here, just to sort of remember what's going on there in that particular movie. What's interesting is that the filmmakers got a lot of interesting things and predicted a lot of things for the real 2015. So they predicted these widescreen monitors, if you paid attention in the movie, that they're everywhere. They also predicted video chats. Today, I video chat with my folks back in Europe, and I video chat with my coworkers everywhere around the world. So they got that right. They also predicted something very interesting. They predicted the vehicles powered by garbage. I say check on that. Vehicle powered by garbage, thanks to Toyota. Mirai, Toyota's first mass-produced hydrogen vehicle, fuel cell vehicle, that goes on sale tomorrow in California for the first time. So yes, the garbage can be used to create hydrogen that can be then used as a fuel to power the vehicle. So that's pretty amazing. The filmmakers, however, did miss some of the things. One thing that I really want to get is those tennis shoes with the self-lacing laces there. That would be really good to have. And I also look at that Rejuvenation clinic that Doc visited. If you haven't seen the movie shortly, you should, or lately, you should see that. That clinic is absolutely amazing. So we don't have that. And although Toyota did make some announcements and news last couple of days and past weeks on a hoverboard in flying vehicles, we're gonna wait a few more years before those become reality. Interestingly, the filmmakers missed something that's around us, and it's probably the biggest innovation in the last 20 years, the Internet. The Internet has become fundamental and inextricable part of our existence in a real 2015. It has transformed the way we live and work, and it's foundation for what we're going to be talking today, the Internet of Things. We were eager to partner with Passcode on this event because, whether we like it or not, the car has become a poster child for the Internet of Things. Rarely discussion starts or finishes about Internet of Things that does not involve a conversation around the vehicle. Because the vehicles are connected, and from next year and so forth, most of the vehicles that hit market will be connected. I suspect the conversation around vehicles starts because we really rely a lot on these vehicles on our daily routines, and it's probably most expensive for most of us, the second most expensive thing that we buy, second to a house. And perhaps this is the sector that has started its Internet of Things evolution. Many of the new cars you drive off the lot today, as I mentioned, are connected. And if not today, the next year and on, they will be connected. Connected cars, safety services are already allowing first responders to react to crashes more effectively. And that's reality. There's a lot of benefit to it. Connected cars also help predict the routes and help people get from point A to point B more efficiently. I also suspect this conversation happens because we share same level of understanding about the profound impact that connected cars will have our lives. We look forward to the days where cars don't crash anymore. I think the day will come that cars, whether autonomous or semi-autonomous or being driven by humans, will not crash anymore, and that convenience of the connected lives can bring to our lives. Here in Washington, D.C., we spent some time talking about the benefit of Internet of Things, but we also spend a lot of time, most of our time it seems, talking about the challenges and the risks that connected cars and Internet of Things bring. It is important that we talk about these risks. They're real, they exist, and we should not be ignored, But I would argue it's also important that we keep them in perspective, because the reality is there is no benefit to the consumer, the economy, to the American competitiveness without some level of risk. The obvious question is, what will it take to manage it all? Today, we are going to focus on what government can do to help foster the Internet of Things and what government can do to address the privacy and security challenges it possesses. This is a vital conversation. There are undoubtedly things that the government can and should do, and also things the government should avoid. And I hope we will touch on those in these today. The sector that makes up the Internet of Things also have a large role to play. The private sector should demonstrate to the government and the consumer that it's taking important steps to mitigate these risks. For example, the auto industry recently established privacy principles to govern the collection and use of a consumer vehicle data. These principles represent a clear commitment from the auto industry to protect and preserve consumer privacy and should be celebrated as a meaningful self-regulatory model for other sectors in the emerging Internet of Things ecosystem. The auto industry is also in process of setting up information sharing and analysis center to act as a secure industry-wide clearinghouse for intelligence about the cyber threats to vehicle and their networks. This morning, we look forward to having a more robust discussion on the issues and opportunities that lie ahead of us. Thank you again for joining us this morning, and I look forward to lively discussion here. I would like to invite here our guests. Welcome FTC Commissioner Julie Brill, Senator Brian Schatz of Hawaii, and Mike Farrell, the editor of Christian Science Monitors, passcode.